we're gonna go into the Doris Day, and the weather is like the sand all over the place. Wow. And it is hurricane weather that's coming up.
All right, Mary.
Hang on to your hair. It'll blow away. I know, for sure. Or you're down. You're way down. It might be raining when we get out here.
It doesn't feel like raining.
Kind of the temperature's nice.
Yeah. I bet I have popcorn.
Doris, you ready for showtime? Of course. Allow me. Here she goes. Doris is here! Okay, make your way through the crowd, Doris. Kristi.
Oh.
Doris.
Kristi. On the carpet, now's the time to do it. We only have about 7 or 8 more minutes, and if anybody wants a photograph, it's a donation to the Filmmakers Gallery over here. The photographs are $20, and Kym really doesn't have a lot of time, but we can only do what's over here anyway. $20 donation.
And all your old thank you so much.
Here we are with Doris Day and Marissa Nicole. She's about to go on and interview what's her name? Kym?
Yes, her.
The little girl that was on Sound of Music.
Come on. Give him the phone. There you go.
There you go.
You were right.
Let's see, hold on, I got this you got it on video.
I got you. Yay!
Here we go.
Just being a I'll give you a card. No, I'm a professional singer. That's what I do. But I've been doing Doris for about 11 years. 11 years I've been doing Doris. She's my hero.
See it.
Yvonne, the face of the casinos.
I'll take a video.
Oh, okay.
Southern California, Hawaii, and Vegas. She's made TV appearances with Regis Philbin, where she sang a song written by Diane Warren. Love Diane Warren. The Righteous Brothers, and opened twice for the legendary comedian Joan Rivers. She produced and hosted her own show here in Palm Springs entitled What's Going On, involving interviews with celebrities and fashion industry people. The show aired on the Fox channel. So, oh wait a minute, Paul. Did you say Kristi's not here? Kristi couldn't make it. You missed you're messing up my shtick. Where is Kristi? Oh. I think
Doris is here.
I think someone else is here. I think the spirit of Doris Day is here. So Doris, would you like to come up on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, the spirit of Doris Day. Kristi's okay, we'll have to figure out what happened.
Get in the back.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, this is exciting. For someone who doesn't talk very much, he sure does talk a lot, doesn't he? You know, I told these guys, they asked me, do you ever do anything a cappella? And I said, oh good God, I've been doing that my whole life. And they said, well, would you do it? And I said, well, I would. Is there anything else involved? Is there alcohol or perhaps some drugs or anything that I could? Anyway. So since I don't have my music here, I'll just do a little ditty for you. But I'm gonna want you to help out because it only seems fair. And we'll do it in memory of Doris, okay? All right. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Sing along. Que Sera, Sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que Sera, Sera. What will be, will be. Good.
So now, our special guest of honor, Kym Karath began her acting career at the age of 3, appearing in Spencer's Mountain with Henry Fonda and Maureen O'Hara, The Thrill of It All with Doris Day and James Garner, and of course, The Sound of Music with Julianne Christopher. Not a bad way to start your career, actually, as you could say. And she also appeared in Good Neighbor Sam with Jack Lemmon before winning the role of Gretel in The Sound of Music, playing the youngest Von Trapp child. And over the years, she appeared in such television shows as Dr. Kildare, Lassie, My Three Sons, Lost in Space, Family Affair, and Paul's favorite, The Brady Bunch, before taking time off to pursue her education. She graduated from USC with her degree in humanities, and again made television appearances in such shows as Archie Bunker's plays, I didn't know actually, and Midnight Offerings before moving to Paris to model and study art history. After returning to the U.S., Kym appeared in All My Children and various print ads before taking time off to raise her son, Eric. She is now resuming her acting career in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, Kym Karath.
It's been too long.
That was lovely.
Isn't that funny? She got older and I stayed the same. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see now. It's been just, how long has it been, young lady?
Quite a while.
Well, I think since everybody knows that I'm really not the real Doris Day, I won't pretend that I am, and I have some questions. We want to enjoy answers from you and learn a little bit about this amazing career. But it's gonna be specific to this movie, of course. And it's exciting for me
Those are
because.
more questions than I can answer.
Oh, I know. No. It's really not that many. We have it together. Don't you worry. I know what I'm doing now. So, but this movie has been a huge favorite of mine, and so there's a lot of things about it that, I don't know behind the scenes, and
I may not know the answers.
Right, and you may not, and that's okay. So, I mean, this is just you would just say whether you do or don't, but it's exciting, to be sitting here and to have you here, and I was watching that movie and I was right there with you.
A long time ago.
I was right there with you, if you catch my draft. But anyway, okay, so let's start with this. So you've had a very long career in movies and
It's long.
Yes, and television, including roles in The Sound of Music, which they mentioned all of these, Peyton Place, The Brady Bunch. I didn't know about Peyton Place. That I did not know about. And many, many more. And you
Sometimes I forget myself.
Try being 97. Okay. Oh, yes. You started at the age of 3. But that's not how old you were in The Thrill. Is that-
I was 4.
You were 4. Oh my gosh.
So
you-
much, much older.
Much older. And that was your second movie,
It's my second movie.
which was 19, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Now,
And I did not have to audition for it.
that was
actually
going
one
to
of
be my
favorite
first
movies.
question.
No audition because
gosh.
I had been the first movie was a movie called Everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. Was a movie called Spencer's Mountain, and I actually did not audition for that one either. I was discovered. My father had a restaurant, and I was eating a cheeseburger when producers came up to me, and actually my mother and said, "Does she want to be in a movie?" And I said, "No." Not really, if it didn't take, well, maybe if it didn't take too long. And so that was actually the first movie that I did. And then because I got such good reviews by this really famous reviewer that some of you may remember named Luella Parsons, and who said I was the next Shirley Temple and a scene stealer, then Norma Jewison ended up having seen that movie and calling me directly to play Doris's daughter. And I don't remember any of that. I have things that tell me that, but yeah.
I kind of figured that, yeah. That's so funny though, because that was my first question. Did you audition? So great. Now, did you have acting lessons?
No.
Never?
Well,
Before
no,
that.
not as
Before
a child.
that, yeah, okay. And could you just describe that very first experience when you first went on to the set?
No.
Do you remember any of that?
No.
You don't? Okay.
No,
I wouldn't
can
either.
tell you that, what I remember for some reason, it's ridiculous, but I actually remember the scene where I'm putting dishes away very vividly.
Oh, wow.
Because it just seemed so real to me, because I put dishes away at
Did
home.
that at home.
And, but it was kind of a prettier, I loved that set.
Mhm.
And it was just a more upscale house than the house I grew up in. So it was like kind of a fun thing to do.
Wow, was
I
it
liked my clothes, which was really good, because
Was
I
it-
hated my
was
clothes
it
in my first
large?
movie.
Like the set, was it really big or just?
I don't know, it was a set. Sets just, in my mind, are just sets. It's part of my childhood. They're like bigger doll houses.
It's so cute. It's so sweet. You played Maggie, the daughter of Dr. Gerald Boyer, and his wife Beverly, played by James Garner and Doris Day. And so in one of your scenes, we're not going to talk about that one. We already talked about that earlier.
I don't remember the naked scene.
We're not going to remember. We're not going to remember the bathtub.
My friend
scene.
Tom does over there.
He does. Tom, do you remember the bathtub scene? Oh, okay. I know. I watched it last night
We're
myself.
high school friends.
But
so.
you've watched it again. What do you think when you? How about that question? What do you think when you
well,
watch
here's
that?
what I think. I cannot believe they actually did that scene, right? I mean, because it's like I'm naked.
I have whole movies like that. Let me tell you right now. with
But
my
you know
sister.
what people could do back in those days,
Yeah.
and what we could never. I mean, we can show people doing everything under the planet, but you cannot show naked children like that, which is a good thing, you know. So it's like, yeah, it's a little on the funny side.
It is funny.
I'm not disturbed by it, but I mean, I culturally, you just sit there and say, oh my God, that could never be done now. Shouldn't, but there you go.
So true.
It was in a more innocent time, I guess.
Yes, that's for sure. Now let's see here. There's another scene. Let's see if, by any chance you remember this.
If it involves bubbles, yes,
No.
I do.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Bubbles? I mean, a kid. Come on.
Oh, well,
that
that's
gigantic
exciting.
bubble thing. That was so much fun.
Okay, well, I'm excited about this one then. In this scene, it was when you and your brother, you woke up, and you woke up your mother, Doris.
Right.
Me. And don't I look great? And you wanted to show her what you thought was snow. And it was, the pool was filled with what
With the
you
bubbles.
thought was snow. What was that like? I mean,
Okay, two parts. First of all, we had to like pretend like we were prying open her eyes, which like that felt like a rude thing to do. So I had to kind of get myself around being that rude and invasive as to stick my finger in somebody's eye fundamentally. She was a total trooper. Doris Day was just a total sweetheart. So of course I felt like I could. Of course I felt like I could do that. So, but it was a little awkward to get into someone's personal space. I mean, you're a little kid, you're taught not to do things like that. So, but the bubbles were just joy. That's the best thing. For a kid,
so fun.
nonstop bubbles, it's great.
So thinking about bubbles, were you actually there when they did that scene where she went through the car
Well,
wash?
yeah.
You
Well,
were-
no, I don't know. I don't that.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Do you remember that scene though?
Oh, I remember the scene from the movie.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
Because I would think that you weren't there because
Yeah,
it
no,
didn't
it
involve
did
you
involve
kids.
me,
So
so yeah.
that was my favorite part, actually. I just absolutely love that scene. Okay, here's an interesting question. Do you remember any rapport with her at all? At
I
that time?
remember she smelled really good.
Oh.
And I mean, I remember she was so sweet and such just a movie star. And the only other movie star, grown-up movie star woman that I'd known was Maureen O'Hara, who also smelled good and was really beautiful, but was like kind of a stiffer, less warm person. But Doris was really, really warm, naturally warm. So I loved that. And it felt more fun doing pretend for that movie than it did for my previous movie.
That's sweet to hear. I wonder if
Plus she looked more like my mother,
Did she?
and so it was just a little more familiar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish she were here to be able to hear this right now. It would make her feel so good. Well,
Introduced me to everybody the
Oh, my
entire
gosh.
rest of the time as her daughter. So it was wonderful, really wonderful.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Now, when was this about?
That
When you
was probably, God, that was probably
Were you about 10 or something?
No,
or-
1970, it was about 1978 or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Oh yeah,
Okay,
so I
so
was
like
fully
15
grown.
or so.
So she was so proud and so
Aw.
cute, and I mean, she didn't let go of me that whole night, it was great.
Isn't that
Yeah,
sweet?
doll, totally.
Doris Day is often described as either the girl next door or the perpetual virgin. Oh, nothing could be further from the truth. But anyway, well, she was always resisting the advances of the Playboy type. You know, you remember all
She was
those
just
movies.
a smart girl,
Make
ahead of
love,
her
not
time.
war. Yes, that's the way it was back then. But anyway, as some of the film historians say that Doris Day was one of the first actresses to portray a career woman, and which is what you are now. So, would you comment on that at all? Like, obviously not from back then, but knowing now about career women.
I think she was uniquely, she was a great mix of everything. She was smart, she was assertive but not aggressive, she was beautiful, glamorous, and I think she was such a great heroine, you know, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel the same way. She's actually my hero, so that's probably why
I couldn't
do
guess.
what I do. Yeah,
couldn't guess.
I know, nobody could ever figure it out, right? Let's see here. Okay, in general, what was it like to be a child actress?
It's weird. It's a weird thing to do. I mean, it's interesting, but you're thrust in all kinds of exotic, strange situations that you can't quite process. So, I mean, like one day you're a space princess in sandals that hurt. And, you know, the next day you're insulting Fred McMurray doing it's a little surreal. Yeah.
And was it a really happy experience for you for the most part, or do you have any
for the most
regrets?
part, it was, I don't have any regrets. For the most part, it was a pretty happy experience. Weird things happen because it's just weird because you're a child and you're a girl child. Luckily, nothing too terrible happened, but when it started to happen, my parents were like, okay, that's enough. You and the business are parting ways until puberty is long past, and
Protected you,
yeah,
took you out of it.
yeah.
And finally, what is your assessment of Doris Day as an actress?
I think she was wonderful and so underrated. I mean, honestly, very underrated. She was so honest and funny and, you know, breathtaking as a singer, gorgeous. So I think she's actually truly underrated. I mean, listen, we all love her, but I don't think she gets enough credit.
She didn't.
Yeah.
And that's very, very true. This has been really, really fun.
Very fun.
And I'm just thrilled. I'm just thrilled of it all to meet you. And I brought some of my friends here today, and they've enjoyed you. And we searched you out on the internet last night, and we had so much fun. Yeah, I was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning just searching you out. And you're just lovely, and you're beautiful. Yeah, you look amazing for 39. It's really, isn't she something?
Yeah.
For 97, yes, thank you. Yes. I'm going to give you my skincare cream, yeah.
I have one final question, and actually it's about Sound of Music, but a lot of people in this room, Paul and I, it's our favorite movie. We've seen it like 50 times, but can you tell us just one quick behind-the-scenes story that probably no one's heard before about the making of it?
No one's heard. The key is that no one's heard before.
No one in this room.
Let me think about this, because I can't think of anything that nobody's heard of. Well, okay. You know, I think what people haven't really heard as much about was my casting process. You know, so I may as well tell that little story. So when I went and interviewed for The Sound of Music, I was 5 years old, and they asked me to sing a song. Well, actually, they loved me, and so then we went to the next thing, which was the singing audition. And they said, you know, can you sing a song from the movie? Can you sing a song, period? And I said, well, I know all the songs from Sound of Music, so I can sing whatever song you want from that one. And they're like, really? Okay, your choice. And I sang 16 going on 17. So that kind of gives you an idea of my headspace at that age. So, and I kind of believed it.
Wow.
And one more quick question. What was it like working with Julianne Christopher?
Well, Julie was a sweetheart, and Christopher was just like busy in his own world, kind of, a little bit aloof. But they were both wonderful people. And later on, he was incredibly warm and sweet and funny to all of us. And so it was just, he was actually going through a divorce, I think, at the time. So he was actually kind of depressed and frustrated and stuff. So he said he didn't enjoy that shoot as much as he should have retrospectively, but we've all had tough times in our personal lives, so.
Thank you. Thank you both for coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristi King.